My next guest has been an active voice towards changing the polarizing political climate. Dean Phillips joins me now. Dean, welcome back to the show. In the immediate aftermath of Charlie Kirk's death, we saw an outpouring of condolences and condemnation from all sides of the political aisle. We heard from Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton. We even heard from Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel. But if change does not happen, that sort of falls on deaf ears, right? If we still have a legacy media out there who is going to villainize people, and we know they did it with Charlie Kirk, we know they did it with Donald Trump, does anything ever really change?
No, and Laura, first of all, I'm saddened to be with you today, and I think what you just shared moments ago with your opening is exactly the message the country needs to hear right now. And not only was Charlie assassinated, but a part of our core American principles were also assassinated. And that is that we litigate with words, not weapons. And whether you agreed or disagreed with Charlie Kirk, what he espoused in his mission was actually to do exactly what I'm encouraging all of us to start doing more of, which is to spend time together and show up at events and don't attack, but listen, learn, educate, and debate. And that is the only way forward. But yes, it's going to take all of us, Laura. And I do speak for, I think, most Democrats. We're just as heartbroken as any reasonable, patriotic American about what we're seeing. Having lost dear friends in Minnesota to an attack just a couple of months ago, the same day a school shooting in Colorado where young children are hurt, the shooting in Annunciation Church in Minneapolis where kids were killed taking Mass. I just encourage everybody watching right now to really take a step back and recognize that the choice is ours. And I'm saddened that more elected leaders on both sides of the aisle right now aren't making that their core mission. And until we do, I'm afraid most Americans are going to continue to retreat to the corners, and it's going to make this harder and harder to solve.
Yeah, well, listen, you're here, right? And this has been your goal. You have been willing to sit down and talk with anyone. You want to bring people from the fringes sort of back to the middle. Do you feel like this could be a point? I know you're saying maybe people say out there, it feels different this time, though, Dean. This really, I have heard from people who are not political at all that they have been devastated by Charlie Kirk's assassination. I've heard from people who I know have completely different political views as I do, how upset they were. You're just saying the same thing. Do you think we could take this opportunity and finally move in a different direction? And what would it take?
Absolutely. In fact, I share that, what you just said, I share. I went to sleep last night. I brushed my teeth. I looked in the mirror and I saw in that reflection a man who was grieving like I would for a dear friend or a loved one, because it strikes to the core of all of us. And I didn't know Charlie, but I did look online this morning to see if we had any banter back and forth on Twitter. And all I found was a very thoughtful tweet that he did about me just a few months ago on a certain subject. And it just goes to show when we make space and place to get together, it works. I did a series in Congress called Common Ground, where I got 6 Democrats, 6 Republicans together in Minnesota. We'd break bread, spend 2-3 hours together talking about issues. And every one of us, including me, would leave that inspired, energized, and optimistic about the future. So if we don't seize this moment, and I mean seize this moment, and do that every day, not much will change. But strangely enough, Laura, I am optimistic. And I think some of my colleagues and former colleagues in Congress, many of whom I would entertain at my home on both sides of the aisle, I hope are thinking about the same thing. How can each of us make it our mission, make it our leadership goal to simply, demand respect, debate ideas, and return this country? Because if we're going to make America great again, we have to restore those core principles of respect, decency, compassion, cooperation. Those are the core American attributes that are shared by most of us. And I just want to thank you, Laura, again, for sending that message today on such a prominent platform, because both sides need to hear it. And we also have to spend time watching, listening, learning to people who see things differently. And I want to honor Charlie Kirk's legacy. May his memory be for a blessing, and may we act to do more speech and promote more debate and more education, more conversation, and then start solving problems, Laura, because we have not done that probably since the 1950s in America, solving problems. So to all of those listening, watching, thinking about how we can make a difference, let's get back to the basics. And I think it may be an opportunity to honor his memory, but most importantly, our duty as citizens of the most extraordinary country on earth.
Amen to that. Robust debate, I think, is the road we need to take in order to get back down that path. I want you to take a listen very quickly to Chuck Schumer here. Listen to what he had to say after Charlie's death.
Political violence is the enemy of democracy, and we have an obligation on all sides to fight it at every turn. We must condemn it whenever it arises, wherever it arises, including this heinous murder of Charlie Kirk. There should be no finger pointing, because this is an attack on our democracy itself.
You know, Dean, that line, attack on our democracy, we heard that a lot from your party, unfortunately, over the course of the past several years, especially as it relates to Donald Trump. This was an attack on someone's First Amendment freedom of speech. Charlie Kirk was assassinated for speaking his mind. I hope that people understand that. I hope that is why this has shaken us so much. Do you think even Chuck Schumer, Democrats, people who totally disagreed with Charlie fully understand that that's why this cuts so deep?
I think so. If you just look at, again, back just in the last couple of months, Lara, between this assassination and the assassination of Melissa Hortman, my friend in Minnesota, who was anything but a rabble-rouser or deep partisan. These are two examples that really hit close to home for anybody in public service, aspiring to public service. And I think the answer is yes. I really enjoyed the remarks of Scott just moments ago about encouraging people to participate now. We cannot let this assassin, no matter the motive, no matter the ideology, cannot let this person stifle or chill future generations of public servants, more Charlie Kirks and people on the other side of the aisle who want to get in front of students to listen, learn, debate, challenge, educate. This might be a national moment that if we do it right, we can look back on as the moment that we got our act together. And that takes leadership. It takes leadership with Mr. Johnson and Mr. Jeffries, with Mr. Schumer, Mr. Thune, and with President Trump. And I would encourage everyone to make this job number one, mission number one. And Lara, lastly, we spend $1 trillion a year, $1 trillion, on national defense. And I would argue that we have the resources, we have the competency, we have the people in place to invest in the new generation of young Americans who are really suffering. And it is not unique to a party, a religion, a geography. It's very human, and we all know it. All of us who are parents know it. And I would encourage everybody in leadership positions to make that our biggest priority for the future, protect, invest in, and ensure the health and emotional security of young people in this country, because we still have time. And I think this is a moment we can look back on, and may that be Charlie Kirk's most profound legacy.
Well, I don't think any of us will forget where we were in the moment we heard about this happening. And the best thing we can do, of course, for Charlie is to carry that legacy on and to do so in a very positive way. So, Dean Phillips, thank you so much for your thoughts on an unfortunate time and an unfortunate situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Lara.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.